This Champions League Matchday 2 edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code SGPN on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app and use promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL. Win up to 20x in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, the 1st of October, and we are here to have a little look back over a, honestly, quite bonkers weekend of Premier League action. And we're going to look at the Champions League. Champions League Matchday 2 takes place on Tuesday and Wednesday. There is a Premier League match on Tuesday night as well, so we've got that to look after. Joining me is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, you've cut your hair, you've shaved your beard, you look like a snooker ball.
Yeah, it's all it was all getting a little bit, a bit too irritating. And I shaved the head first because that was like a tennis ball. And then I came down with just the beard left and shaved my head. And the wife and kids laughed and said, "You can't walk around like that." So I shaved the rest off. But to be fair, it does look a mess. Like when I get a full beard, I used to have a lovely ginger beard, and now it goes all funny shades of brown, ginger, grey. Little bit of
the thing is a lovely ginger beard.
Ad's asking, guess what he's having for tea? I'm hoping it's bangers and mash.
It's got to be bangers and mash. Minus 1,000 bangers and mash. Because you had live, you ate bangers and mash live this afternoon
on the NFL pre-game show this afternoon. We done all right on the NFL, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a fun day because Sean and Ryan said we could do a little live NFL pre-game for the Jags and Falcons this afternoon. So we did, and lots of people came and joined us. It was good fun, wasn't it? And Andrew and Dylan came on and had a bit crack. And actually, we picked some winners. The Jags and the under parlay, the Atlanta team total, Jags on the handicap. The only thing that missed really were the stupid first touchdown props that we threw out, like 66-1 shots and that. But yeah, we've done all right. Like,
yeah, I hit some player props, 2 out of 3. I hit the unders. And as you say, first touchdown scores didn't come in, but other than that, good afternoon on the NFL. Got a few things going on.
Yes, we are 5 players, Baz, is what we are. We're a multi-threat to the books. Who's here? Slick Rigs.
It's important to point out we will be back for the pre-game show next week, 2 p.m. UK time, whatever time, 9 o'clock over on the Eastern time. So yeah, we'll be doing that again for the next couple of UK games. So I think it's the next 3 Sundays in a row. Well, 3 Sundays in a row. So the next 2 Sundays we'll be back. So yeah, anyone who likes a bit of NFL, join us for that. It's all on our YouTube, so make sure you're subscribed. Fun
and games. That was good. Usual, like you say, Sunday night, a little bit quieter in the chat because everyone is either spending a bit of time with their families or more than likely more DJ activity watching the NFL. But Slick Rick's here. He was first in.
Still hasn't told us. He needs to confirm that it was bangers and mash.
Yeah, exactly. He's teased us with what he is having for tea, and then he hasn't actually confirmed what he's having for tea. I'll tell you what's really good, Baz. VAR, that's really good, isn't it? What do you think of that?
Oh. What an introduction to the game VAR was, eh?
Brilliant that.
All it's done is it's good how it's just like removed all the controversy from the game. Do you know what I mean? We now get every decision right. Never any issues. Exactly what it was brought in to do. It's been lovely.
Absolutely. I mean, yesterday was a mad old day, really. First, it was a busy day because there was a full-on 8 games, I think, yesterday, where normally you get like 3 o'clock kickoffs or whatever. So it was a mad day in 2 parts for me. A, the actual football, and then B, the picks. So I think I need to pull the day apart in sort of two parts, because the two things didn't reflect each other at all. So the actual football was great. For me, it was like an all-time match of the day last night. It was like my greatest hits. I felt like it was like a little montage of things that played before my funeral or something, because I put match of the day on and it's like, oh, here's Liverpool getting beat. Brilliant. In unfortunate circumstances, brilliant. With 2 men sent off, brilliant. And a shocking VAR decision, brilliant. With a 96-minute own goal. It was like I'd wrote it. It was like a script I would have written. And then that finished. And it was like, oh, next up, here's Man United getting beat. I was like, oh, come on then. Next up, here's Everton getting beat. Fucking hell. Like, you go down to the channels in the 900s on my telly, and I won't find anything exciting as that match of the day. And then they threw in a little Newcastle win, just to keep us honest. And here's Manchester City getting beat. So, yeah, the football was just insane. We can come to a few of the important games in a little while. But then the second part was the picks, because I struggled. I keep doing this thing now, Baz, of struggling early and clawing it back late. And that's not very good for your mental health. You want to be in front on the Saturday, and then you're playing with house money. But I started with a winner in the lunchtime game, so I was smelling myself a little bit. And then it all went absolutely tits up. I got 6 out of 6 wrong. Even though we wanted to fade Brighton, like the process I thought was all right. Wanted to fade Brighton, tick. Wanted to fade Man United, tick. Wanted to fade Everton, tick. Happy to fade Liverpool, tick. I've been on Wolves all season, tick. Like everything, my instincts were all good. Couldn't pick a winner. You messaged me saying your picks have been shit today, which instantly makes us feel a load better. So I celebrated that Tottenham winner going in the pub for several reasons. And then today, dragged myself out of the shit with the old 1-1 of the week bars, put myself back over the finishing line and puff it again. So just about got away with it. But how was you? You did. I imagine you enjoyed all the silliness, but you also picked a few winners.
Yeah, I had a better day Saturday. Started strong. Villa team total, 2 goals, 15 minutes. That was done. Tick. And I got straight on at that point 2-0. That had cashed. So I went on the ladder. So I took Villa 4, 5, and 6, and had an absolute blinder on that one. Got up to 22-1 for the 6 goals in play.
Wow.
Afternoon, I had the handicap for West Ham, had the handicap for Arsenal, both cruised in really, and then finished strongly. Sort of system play for me at the moment on Liverpool games is to back the opposition to score in the first half.
Yeah.
Spurs went in probably half an hour in or something like that. So a nice, easy cash again. And I also had Spurs, like you, as my underdog pick of the week. So yeah, good day yesterday. I had Forest today and probably didn't really deserve anything more than I got. But happy for you to cash your 1-1 of the week. Seemed like a listener for that. I know Patrick had said he'd back the 1-1, he'd back the under 2.5, he'd back the both teams to score. He'd backed every part of that 1-1.
Yeah, he went all in. Yeah, I mean, we'll start that Tottenham-Liverpool game. I threw out 4 bets on that, Baz. I've got the box off here. So Tottenham to win, both teams to score in the first half. The first half goals over 1.5, and then the actual pick, which was the Tottenham team total. So I did land all 4 of them on the Tottenham game, if you want to add all them up. But, I mean, where do you start with this? We have to talk about it, because if people listen to this podcast and we don't talk about it, they'll think, why they're not talking? But, it was fucking hilarious. Objectively, it was hilarious. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that was one of the funniest things I've seen for years, for all sorts of different reasons. But also, I mean, what the hell? Like, yeah, talk us through it, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool. For me, I didn't have a problem with the Curtis Jones red card. I thought you done nothing. I see why Liverpool don't like it. There's loads of people that don't know the rules. So it's like, oh, he didn't mean to go over the ball, or he's touched the ball, so it can't be a red card. That's bollocks. It's endangering an opponent. Did you endanger an opponent? And he did, because he was too high, and he only touches the top of the ball because he's too high. His foot should have been low. If he was trying to win the ball, his foot wouldn't be that high up. So it was dangerous. It was borderline, but once it's given, well, I suppose the question mark is it wasn't given. So then was there enough to send him to the screen? I think that's probably the controversy around it for me. If the ref had give the red card, then it kept it, then fine. But for me, the red cards I didn't have a massive issue with. So Liverpool fans coming out and saying it's a conspiracy. I don't like any of this from any fans to say it's a conspiracy, it's corruption. They've got it in for us because every fan thinks the referees and the VARs have got it in for their team. Yeah, every fan thinks that. They're just not very good at what they do, is the problem. But that offside was just one of the most bizarre things I've seen, because in real time, he scores, flag goes up, and at the very first glance, they show you, you're sitting at home and you think, oh, he's onside, let's go that. And then in the blink of an eye, the game's restarted. We haven't seen any lines. We haven't saw anything at all. Just crack on. And I was like, eh. And the commentators didn't talk about it much at the time either. They just seemed to get on with it until halftime, where they started to look at it. And they showed you it again at halftime, and they're just thinking, hold on, this can't be right.
Yeah.
Why haven't they shown us the picture with the lines? Why? And then you knew it was wrong. And you knew after the game there was going to be something coming out. And the first statement was just, there's been a human error. That goal should have been disallowed, should have been allowed, and wasn't, because the VAR failed to intervene. And at that point, everyone's thinking they just haven't checked it. They didn't bother drawing the lines. They didn't look at it. And then they've came out with a new story, which just doesn't add up to me, to say the VAR thought the goal was given, so he checked it. He put the lines on. He said, yep, he's onside, and said, check complete. On you go. And that doesn't add up to me, like, because there's not just one man in a box looking at this video. There's 2, 3, 4 of them, whatever there is. And at the point where he sees them taking a free kick, you say, hold on. No, I said it was a goal. And even if they take that free kick, I've seen people saying, once the free kick is taken, you can't bring it back. That's bollocks, surely. Because it's a better situation to correct the wrong than just to ignore it and sit there all embarrassed. Someone pointed out on Twitter, there was a game when VAR first came in where the full-time whistle had gone and they brought players back on the pitch for a penalty. So I don't believe for a second once another action has taken place, they couldn't have brought it back. Well, if that is the case, then that's stupid, and they probably will change it in future, because they could have waited. In that next minute after that had all happened, nothing significant happened in the game. That would have meant it would have been an absolute disaster if they brought it back and went, oh, hold on, we've fucked up here. But it was so clear.
Yeah, they walked across to Klopp and Postecoglou and said, this is what's happened, but we'd rather get it right than, well, scrub the last minute of nothing.
Postecoglou would stand there and say, fair enough, it's a goal. Like, because you don't want to win like that. And Spurs fans, I could see, were really unhappy last night, because it sort of pissed on their bonfire a little bit, because they should have been buzzing about the result. But all they say on Twitter is it's a fraud, it's a conspiracy, it's a fix. And it was just shocking, because it was a simple one for the VAR to get right. There was no subjectiveness in it. It's not just someone's opinion. It was a straightforward, right, this goal's been disallowed. We need to check it. Draw a line. Yep, he's onside. That's it. Simple. Really straightforward. There's nothing complicated. There's no other phases of play to check or anything. So I can understand entirely why Liverpool fans are pissed off. I'm sure Liverpool understand why most other fans found it pretty funny that they were on the end of it. I mean, because, you know, we've been on the wrong end of some late goals from Liverpool. So I ain't got tons of sympathy. But I have, in a way. But as I say, what happened was a shambles, and it's harsh. But does it mean they would have got a point from the game? Does it mean they wouldn't have ended up with 10 men? Who knows? Like, well, they already had 10 men at that point. The whole game changes, so you've no idea how it goes. And the other thing to say, Malcolm, is if we didn't have VAR, that goal isn't given anyway. You can say get rid of VAR, but that wouldn't have changed the situation. The linesman's flag went up, he was offside. VAR should have had the opportunity to make it a goal, but if it wasn't there, VAR doesn't change the situation for Liverpool.
I agree.
Before we jump on, this is going to surprise you because, as you know, I've been itching to get Klopp on the tit list. And I actually thought Klopp took it really well.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't go berserk, which he should have done, or which I would have expected him to do. And he was quite sort of pragmatic about it in terms of like, it's happened. We'll get an apology. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't give us anything. Like, no point asking me for comments because I'll get fined. And I thought actually Klopp dealt with it really, really well. So I'm going to give him credit because I don't often do that because I do think he's a tit. He hasn't made the tit list yet, and he stays off for another week because it was he did take it well. I thought
it was a bit easier for him because he almost had time to mourn it and process it and get over it because that was sort of happened. He had an hour to sort of deal with it. Didn't happen late in the game, kind of thing. So yeah, but I agree with you. He stays off remarkably for another week. Anyone riding over 1.5 weeks, the Klopp didn't go on the tit list. If you've got up the ladder, you've made it to week 8, which is remarkable. There's some good chat in the comments here. Jabitron, who is a Sociedad fan. I don't know if he's in Spain or not. Real Sociedad fan. Asking about derby, who he thinks is the best derby. And talking about Arsenal, Tottenham in the Prem. Jonathan Pearson's here throwing out Celtic Rangers. I've got a possible new feature, Baz, talking about Celtic Rangers, and it came from watching Lascelles and Dummett last week play for Newcastle. And I think we've kind of floated this before, I think once, which were who are the most Celtic and Rangers players that are playing in the Premier League. So when they sign for Rangers and Celtic, you think, that makes absolute sense.
It was John Lundstrom, wasn't it, when it came up?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
United to Rangers, and you said he was a typical Scottish signing, Celtic and Rangers signing.
Yeah, why Paul Dummett's not going to play for Rangers for the next 4 years at left back and win loads of trophies and that? And Lascelles looks more like a Celtic centre half to me. Him and the one from Brighton, the other big clumsy one from Brighton who went up there. But yeah, Matt Ritchie would be another one. Just a definitely, he'd get 9 goals and 17 assists for Rangers and win 9 trophies in the next 2 years or something. So yeah, there you go. We'll have a little dance around the rest of the Premier League before we get into our Champions League picks. I'll tell you first about Game Time. Game Time are taking the stress out of the buying ticket process, which, as everyone knows, is an absolute nightmare. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way for you to get tickets for sport, music, comedy, theatre, anything like that you want to go and see. Flash deals, last minute tickets, you get images of your seat. So you can forget planning months in advance. Game Time has got the deals on the tickets right up to the day of the event. And the Game Time guarantee credits you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and draw for less. The thing to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And also, Underdog Fantasy, a way to play alongside your favourite football team all season long. Win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. From now until October the 4th, Underdog is matching 100% of first deposits up to $500. That's $2 million in prizes all season, 100,000 this week, 10 people winning 10k each. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog Fantasy. Get that first deposit matched up to $500. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. Where do you want to go, Baz? Man City getting beat. What was all that about?
Yeah, that was one of my losers for this weekend. I said to you yesterday, I said to someone yesterday, I lost on the Everton game. I lost on the Man United game. And neither of them came as, massive shocks to me. There was no, you weren't like, how did that happen? Because Everton are capable of losing to anyone, and as are Man United at the moment. Man City game, I just didn't see that coming from anywhere because Wolves hadn't shown us any sign of hope. And Man City...
Simply not true, but I told you how good Wolves were every week.
So you backed them this week?
No.
No, I took Man City on a handicap.
I
just didn't see that coming, but puts a bit of a spanner in the works for Man City. Two defeats in a row, lost to Newcastle. Just puts a little bit of doubt where everything just seemed to be so smooth for them for the start of the season. And now, they're no longer unbeatable. Where a couple of weeks ago, that's how they were looking. So yeah, interesting.
Man United getting beat. Another one where, like I said to you, I feel like I had all these teams pegged properly and got all the picks wrong because we just know that's the sort of home game. Even though they're shite, that's the sort of home game Man U go and win. But actually, for once, they got what they deserved for being shite, which was beating its home to Crystal Palace. And again, I just see nothing from Ten Hag. I see nothing from their star players. Casemiro is wandering around just like an old codger in the middle of the park. They're just in a right old mess. Højlund looks quite lively, I'll give him that. I saw a couple of people saying Man United haven't had a number 9, a traditional number 9 for such a long time. That it's going to take a little while to integrate him, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, I mean, 7 goals now in 7 games? The worst start for donkey's years. But again, for them, it's the process. I don't know. I've said this, I'm balling myself. I've said this a lot of times. I don't know what they're trying to achieve. What's their identity like? It's just horrible.
Yeah, it didn't come as a surprise. And by all accounts, they didn't get anything they didn't deserve. So they didn't really create much. One of the tits on the tit list, Mark Goldbridge. I always enjoy when Man United have a bad game, going back and watching his YouTube.
I haven't done that yet.
To see his reaction. So it's always worth looking at the reaction when they concede a goal, or also his full-time reaction. He didn't hang around for long at full-time. He spat his dummy out and went away with it. Oh, what a tit. I'm glad he's on the tit list.
Yeah. Well, I've just written that down because you see, I was having so much fun yesterday watching Match of the Day 9 times that I didn't have time to catch up with Goldbridge, so I've written that down, Baz. That's on my notes. I'll do that straight after this. Everton getting beaten. I mean, we could talk about this all night. What a great day. I mean, and that is a shocking result for Everton. It's well done to Luton, the first promoted club to win a game. Sheffield United have completely fallen in a hole. Burnley, still not sure. We'll talk about them in a minute. But Luton did get the win. This should have been a great spot for Everton. They won away from home. They scored some goals. They get probably the worst team in the league to back it up with at home. And they go and get beat again. And deservedly as well. So I thought, I don't know what to do with Everton at this point either. I was happy to fade them, but I love it. Jordan Pickford, by the way, when the first goal went in, was in his goal again. He enjoys, I pointed out, he's very often to be found in his goal. And sure enough, he was stood in the bottom corner while Tom Lockyer tackled the ball in for the first one.
Yeah, I mean, Everton game, I went for the over 2.5, so I actually done all right. I just said earlier, I lost on the Everton game. I didn't, because I didn't take Everton. I took the over 2.5. Yeah, I was thinking, I had in my head, I'm sure I didn't. I had more than 4 winners. Yes, I had 5 out of the 8 yesterday, plus Spurs as a bonus pick on the underdogs. But yeah, I felt Luton would score, but I thought Everton would do more. As you say, it's a shocking result, and puts them right back to where they were, circling the drain.
Very much circling the drain. I mean, not much else. Arsenal was incredibly comfortable. Newcastle was comfortable.
Arsenal. Hold on. Because I've got Bukayo Saka in my fantasy football league. And he was the doubt this week. So a lot of people transferred him out, and I kept him because I thought he's definitely going to start. Scores early on, good. They get a penalty. Saka's that penalty taker. He hands it over, hands it to Odegaard. I think, all right, brilliant. He's done that before, so not a massive surprise. Next penalty, picks the ball up, stands on the spot. Thought, oh, well, this will do. And then Odegaard comes over and asks him if he wants to give it to Havertz. That's bollocks. I mean, giving it to Odegaard's fine, because Odegaard's got a good record from the spot and all that. But giving it to Havertz to give him his first Arsenal goal, bless him, like, because he can't score from open play. Let's gift him one. Yeah, cost me. Should have had a hat-trick yesterday, Saka. That would have been nice for my fantasy football.
I don't even want to talk about. I started. With a game we haven't mentioned. Matty Cash assist and Ollie Watkins hat-trick, and I thought, here we go. And then I checked my team. Almost everyone else did bits. And I checked my team, and I've still got 35 fewer points than everybody else. There's someone in our league, as in the podcast league, was on 112 points yesterday.
I think,
and I thought I'd done all right with 50.
Yeah, I think that's Ewan, who's in another league with me from up in Newcastle. I thought I'd done okay yesterday. I had Matty Cash, I had Alvarez score, Saka scored. I had bits and pieces all over the place, and then looked last night, and I was like, holy shit, everybody else has got 70s and 80s, and I'm sitting here on 40. So yeah, garbage.
Yeah, absolute garbage. Zabitron in the chat. Don't know if he's 100% familiar that we're Newcastle fans. So they're having a bit of a conversation about oil money and trying to get a sensible answer out of us. You've got absolutely no chance, unfortunately. Our hands are tied. I don't know what you expect us to do. So yeah, going back to that game then, Aston Villa 6, Brighton 1. We've had Brighton down as frauds, Baz. I think we can take a victory lap here because we did just say, if you just keep fading them Villa this week was 6-4. They weren't going to make you rich, but you see, you tag that on to the 5-1 West Ham and the 12-1 AEK Athens, and you'll make money back in this Brighton team. I looked at the starting lineup again, and I still don't get it. They will play well in spells because they seem to be really well coached, and they're going to go and beat some teams. But they're absolutely going to have this in them, Baz. Like, I don't know how to handicap them going forward, whether or not I'm just going to blindly fade them every week.
Yeah, I mean, someone contacted me on TikTok yesterday to say he's enjoying the podcast. We've got loads more people this week, feedback saying they're enjoying what we're putting out, but also said he listened to, took on board the Brighton aspect and faded them. And I'd said to him, there's no hatred of Brighton here. I just think the bookies are a little bit short on them every week, and there's value on the other side of it because they've won a lot of games. You're not going to cash it every week, but you get some good players opposing them, and they've yet to keep a clean sheet. They're very vulnerable at the back. And we talked about how they're capable of having big games like this where they ship loads of goals. Newcastle put a load past them. Everton had that big score last season, and we've already seen it happen twice this year. Who was it beat them not a few weeks ago?
West Ham.
Did they beat them 3 or 4?
3-1, I think, or 3-0.
Yeah, so they're always capable of conceding a significant number of goals. I mean, you don't usually expect them to concede 6. But Villa going and beating Brighton wasn't a massive surprise. I mean, they've conceded 14 goals so far. There's only the bottom 3 teams in the league have conceded more goals than Brighton. But as I say, I don't want it to sound like I'm bashing Brighton every week because they're still in very good form. They're a nice team to watch. They're sitting in 7th. But it's purely a value thing. I think at the moment there are ways of making money opposing them, whether that's for other teams to score goals or other teams to win and taking the chances at big prices. Like you say, some of those odds where they have lost have been really, really nice prices.
Because that is about the 8th example now of that from going back last year when you got Everton. Say I got them against Forest, and then you've had the Athens game, the Newcastle game where you humped them, because they don't just get beat occasionally; they get absolutely smashed as well. So if you betting them even on the handicap would be another thing. So you went up the ladder at the weekend, and because they're not going to stop playing. If they go 3-0 down or 3-1, they're not going to think, "Oh, let's limit the damage here." They're just going to start fannying about all over again and let you go 4, 5, 6 or whatever. Right, okay, we've got one Premier League game we'll tackle first before we get into the Champions League for the week. I'm sure Javitron wants a bit of Sociedad chat, so we'll cast our eye over that.
Have you made a pick in the Sociedad game, Malcolm?
I haven't, but I'm going to have a look now. I picked them last time, I think. I think I picked them to beat Lons last time and they fucked it up. Well, that might have been Sevilla, one or the other. But anyway, Hall of Fame bets helping you win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season. the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea in the Hall of Fame Bets Parlay Optimizer tool. You'll get things like hit rates broken down by leg, expected probabilities for the parlay. You can sort players by hit rates. So stop betting in the dark and join 30,000 users researching the Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Right, so we'll start in the Premier League, Baz. There's a game on Tuesday night, and this game is the one that was called off week 2 in the Premier League. It's Luton Town against Burnley. It was when Luton Stadium wasn't quite ready at the start of the season, so it's been pushed back a couple of weeks, and the game will take place on Tuesday night. Luton are the 7-4 favourites, plus 175. The draw is 21-10, and Burnley are 17-10, plus 170. So, Luton got that win. It's Everton. Brilliant for them. Really pleased. Deserved as well, I think. It will have done absolute wonders for their confidence, Luton. And yeah, they played okay. They stuck to their system. The week before against Wolves, they'd caused Wolves all sorts of problems as well. Game finished 1-1. They never really looked like scoring, Luton, but in the first half, it was absolutely mayhem. They battered Wolves. Burnley, obviously a team I saw in person yesterday. So I got a good look at them. And I thought they played okay. It was hard. Simmers came in the pub and said, by the way, I think they're shite. He says that every week, we pointed out. It doesn't matter who we're playing. And I said to him, I thought they played okay. I said, if they had Callum Wilson playing up top, they'd have scored some goals. And he said, well, yeah, but they haven't. And kind of, in a nutshell, is what the problem with Burnley is, because they weren't okay. In fact, even my dad was getting a bit twitchy. He was like, I don't like this, they're playing. I said, Dad, we'll catch them in a minute. I said, the way they play is admirable, it's good, but they haven't got the quality to be able to pull it off. I said, we'll get them in a minute. And honestly, within 3 or 4 minutes, Trippier nicked it off Ramsey, was fannying about. And it's 1-0. And then the second goal, they made one chance. They should have scored early on. And after that, they never looked like scoring at all. So it's one of those, do you put a bit of stock in the fact that Burnley are a nice-looking football team, or do you put stock in the fact that even though they're a nice-looking football team, they keep getting beat? Look at the Man United game last week. And they still haven't managed to get a win on the board. I don't think this will suit Burnley. Having watched them yesterday and knowing that Luton have got a chance to go back-to-back, this is a good spot for Luton. Tails up, confidence at a high, points in the bag at the weekend. I'm going to take Luton to go back-to-back here. I think they can get the win. Set pieces and stuff. Honestly, if Carlton Morris played for Burnley, you laughing because you picked Burnley, aren't you? I can say already. If Carlton Morris played for Burnley, there's goals to be had here. Baz, I can't see them scoring a goal. Luton defend properly. They're going to cause Burnley problem. They're a bit soft, Baz. Burnley, they're a little bit soft. I saw that yesterday. I think Luton can turn them over. And now you can make the case for the opposition, Barry. You're on mute, Baz. You're on mute. Come on, bozo.
Doesn't happen often, but there we go. You can have that one. I mean, what you said there about Burnley was exactly what I said last week when we talked about Burnley. When I said, I do like what they're doing. I do think there's some positives there. I still think they could be okay. But what they are lacking is that striker. They are desperate for the striker. They're sitting on 1 point, but you look at the games, how many points do you think they expected to get from Man City, Villa, Spurs, Man United, Newcastle? 5 of the 6 games against 5, of the top sides in the league this year. They would have wanted more than a point. And they were really, let's be honest, they should have had the 3 points against Forest in the other game. I've been sympathetic towards Burnley so far. I've given them a chance based on those fixtures. And as I say, they let me down against Forest because I took them in that one, and they were quite unlucky, I thought. Obviously, 1 point from 6 is a concern, but they really need to turn a corner now. There's no more excuses for Burnley. The fixtures swing for them a bit. They've got this one. They've got Chelsea, Brentford, Bournemouth. Some winnable games there. Some games where they've got to get points. Now, if they don't get anything from this one, for example, I think things could unravel very, very quickly for them because it's momentum, isn't it? It's a big monkey off Luton's back to get that win against Everton because everyone was writing Luton off and saying they're going to end up on no points, they're going to win nothing, they're not going to win a game and all of this lot. So all that talk goes away. It still hangs around with Burnley until they get their first win. Same with Sheffield United. There's obviously head form from these two because they were in the same division last year. 2 games last year. Burnley won the away leg 1-0 and they drew 1-1 at home. So Luton haven't beaten Burnley in the last 2 occasions. Unders has definitely got potential, 8-11 for under 2.5 goals. I wouldn't talk anyone out of that one. But I'm giving Burnley another chance here. I'm going to take Burnley on the money line at 17-10. And it's just because I'm not quite ready to give up on Burnley yet. If they go and blow this one, then I'm out on Burnley. It's the last chance saloon from a betting point of view for me on Burnley. But I think Burnley will nick this one. Is it with huge confidence? No. But if they can't win this, I think they're doomed. They're going to struggle.
Okay, so that was a complete waste of everybody's time for 8 minutes, no problem. Back the draw if you've got any sense, everybody. Champions League, I have had a look around, Baz. Again, we haven't really talked about, we haven't talked to each other about what we've picked. I've had a look around. I've made 4 picks, Baz, over the 2 nights. I've included the Newcastle game for obvious reasons. I've made 3 others. The first pick we're going to throw out, though, we've got a listener pick here. So the Tuesday night game between FC Salzburg and Real Sociedad, Jabitron, it was now our Sociedad correspondent. He's been officially on the payroll for the last 3 minutes. It's a 2-1 win for Sociedad is the answer, apparently, and that is a price of 9-1. So that's the first pick we're going to give out tonight. I will start on Tuesday.
Before you move on,
sorry?
I just had a quick look at that one when he told us he was a Sociedad fan. Both teams had good results in the first game. Salzburg, probably the result of the round, 2-0 win against Benfica, although Benfica were down to 10 men after 13 minutes. Sociedad, unlucky, they were 1-0 up until the 89th minute or something against Inter Milan, finished 1-1, but still a really solid result for Sociedad. The first thing that stood out to me looking at them was goals. So I like his pick of 2-1 because over 2.5 goals is at evens. I think that looks good. Salzburg have just won their last 2 games, 4-0. As I say, they put a couple past Benfica, who were a good side. And Sociedad have been in good scoring form. They've scored 8 in the last 3 games in the league. And they've got, a few times they've scored over 2 goals themselves. So, yeah, over 2.5 goals in that Sociedad game would be my pick. But, yeah, Jabitron, betting with his heart, is going for Sociedad to win.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of that when we come to the Newcastle match in a minute, but so that's the early game on Tuesday, one of the 2 early games, which is a 5:45, 12:45 Eastern Time kickoff. The second of those 2 early games, Baz, is going to be my first pick, and that is Union Berlin against Braga. Union are 9-10 minus 111. The draw is 13-5 plus 260, and Braga are sitting at 3-1. So Union Berlin got chinned 1-0 last time in Madrid. 94th minute Jude Bellingham goal. They haven't had a great start in the Bundesliga. They've won 2 and lost 4. They've actually lost 4 in a row and only scored 1 goal in these. I can see, Baz, a bit of a comparison with Newcastle in Berlin, as in it's the first time in the competition. I think it's their first time ever. It's obviously our first time in a generation. Quite a small squad, or what was quite a small squad. And if kind of found it hard going in the last few weeks. Well, Newcastle have turned it round. Berlin haven't quite had a chance, but I think they will. they're really good at home last year. They won 11, drew 6, and did not lose at home in their 17 league games. And I do think they'll find the form. Like I say, I'm seeing a bit of a comp with Newcastle. There's no reason why they won't find the form. Braga lost 2-1 at home to Napoli last time. They're 5th in the Portuguese league. But there's a big part of my handicap is a fade of that league, really. And I've done a couple of the games like this, actually. Loads of goals in their games against weak opposition. They haven't really played any of the big boys yet. Their goals this season, Baz, total goals in the games, 3, 6, 2, 5, 4, 5, 6. So there's 4.5 goals in their games on average. Over 2.5 goals here is even money. I think it's too big. I think Berlin will be better at home. Any sort of this mid-level Portuguese team is a little bit of a drop-off from a Bundesliga opposition. So I think Union can find a little bit of form. Braga will make a game of it. I think Union might touch him off 2-1 or something. But the pick is going to be even money for over 2.5 goals, Barry.
I thought you were going somewhere different with that, because I've gone slightly different to you. I just feel like the bubbles burst a bit with Union Berlin. Obviously, had a cracking season last season.
That's exactly what people were saying about Newcastle 2 weeks ago, but
Newcastle didn't lose 5 games in a row, and they've scored only one goal in the last 5. Union Berlin, that's got to be a concern because they're not even playing some of the best sides in Germany in those results. They've lost to Heidenheim, Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg, Leipzig are a good side.
All the Heims, Baz, have the lost to.
All the Heims have beat them, yeah. I mean, they started the season well, back-to-back 4-1 wins, but it's unravelled a bit since. The first round of games, really solid. They're really unlucky. Or were they? They lost 1-0 to Real Madrid in the 94th minute, that Bellingham goal. But Real Madrid, it was one-way traffic. Union didn't register a single shot on target. Real Madrid had about 10, I think, in that game. Braga also lost their first game. But that was against Napoli, so again, good side. So no disgrace for either of them in the first round games. But Braga have been in good scoring form, as you say. They've scored 4 in each of the last 2. They haven't failed to score in 12 consecutive games. And although you say the Portuguese league is at a lower level, they scored against Napoli. And they have played Sporting in the league, who are one of the better sides. They scored against them. And Union haven't kept a clean sheet for 7 games now. So I agree there'll be goals. I don't mind the over 2.5 at all. Both teams to score would possibly appeal for me, which fits into your narrative as well. Both teams to scores at 4-5, -125. But I just had a slight lean towards Braga here, despite Union being the home team. If I was looking for a simple pick at around evens, then both teams to score would be where I would go with this one. But I just wanted to be a bit more ambitious, and I'm going to take Braga to score 2 or more at 12-5 +240. I said to you before we come on the show, I still haven't really got the feel for this Champions League stuff yet. I'm still feeling my way into it. It's harder making picks. None of these are massive. I don't go in with the same confidence I have when I'm making the Premier League picks. Maybe in a couple of weeks I will do. Which is why I sort of looked for some sort of bigger prices and some things. And this was one where I just thought I could see Braga getting a couple of goals. Yeah, the pick for me, Braga to score 2 or more against Union Berlin, 12-5 +240.
Right. What's your next game, Baz? Have we managed to pick any different games? Because we've got a list of 16 games here and we both picked the same one there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to jump into Man United v Galatasaray.
Oh, okay, I didn't do that one.
Good. Really quick one. I mean, nothing surprises me anymore with Man United. Home record was what kept them going last season. The fortress of Old Trafford. They weren't losing games. Really, really solid at home. That's gone. Brighton and Palace both going into Old Trafford in recent weeks and coming away with 3 points. I took Man United the weekend, and as I say, Palace winning it didn't come as a massive shock. It wasn't a big surprise. And because of the turmoil Man United are in, I think Galatasaray are worth a go at 6-1.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go into it too much because it's anyone who's a Man United fan just say, "Oh, you're just picking Man United for the sake of it," and possibly.
I don't think Man United fans would want to pick Man United at the minute, would they?
I mean, certainly not at 4-9. Would you want to back them at 4-9? I don't think anyone would back them. I wouldn't back them with your money. So it's purely, there's just no reason why Galatasaray can't go there and do what Palace did at the weekend. And it doesn't take much for a team to come away with a win these days because Man United don't look like scoring loads of goals. As you said in the league, 7-7. I know they scored 3 against Bayern Munich, but the game was never felt in danger for Bayern. Bayern just kept them at arm's length all game. So I don't take too much from those 3 goals. It's very much a value play, just based on the current mess at Man United. Further injury turmoil for them. Martinez is now going to be out for 2 or 3 months. He's had an operation on his foot, so he can't do any more butchery for a while. Purely a value play. Galatasaray worth a punt at 6-1. I'll take Galatasaray to beat Man United 6-1.
Well, Morrison's will have to shift someone over from the fish counter tomorrow if Lissandro's not going to be in work for a couple of weeks. The only thing that puts you off is that notorious thing about Turkish teams never travelling very well. It's just been a thing. It has been forever. But yeah, why not? I mean, if I check the score and saw Man United had lost 2-1, I'll take partial credit for them being shy because I captained Rashford in my fantasy team for just this purpose at the weekend. So I'm stuck with him. I said to Bob, I'm going to have to take him and Fernandes out. But then I remembered why I put them in, which was for just this reason, Barry. I told you, didn't I? I should have done it 40 years ago. Sorry.
What did I tell you about my fantasy? My motto this year is no Man United players, and I've stuck to it. Okay. 7 weeks in, I haven't got a single Man United player. I haven't had them yet. The problem is I haven't replaced them with anyone who's scoring points. So I've done okay dodging them too, but I haven't really found the right replacements for them. But yeah, I mean, you didn't lose anything by captaining Rashford because everybody else captains Haaland and he blanked as well. So it's no major issue. Like,
no, if I have to take him down with me, I am happy to provide that service for everybody. We'll carry on Tuesday with FC Copenhagen against Bayern Munich. Copenhagen 12-1, 6-1 the draw. Munich or 1-5 minus 500. So I got paid out on Copenhagen last time after their 2-2 draw in Galatasaray. I gave Copenhagen to win at 4-1, and they were 2-0 up. So I did get paid by 365. But then Galatasaray scored twice in the last few minutes, so it wasn't an official sure winner. But I thought they played all right. It is a tricky environment to go into. It's all that welcome to hell bollocks, but it's noisy and a little bit raj. And they look quite composed. They've got some good footballers. They're full of goals in the Danish league, but that's fair enough. Munich obviously beat Manchester United 4-3. They are flying along domestically. They've scored 20 in 6, but they've only got 2 clean sheets in that, Baz, and they conceded 3 to Manchester United. I think Copenhagen can score. Munich might win this 5-1, but that'll do. Both teams to score again, Baz, is 19-20, minus 105, and Matt Stafford might have just saved our Guillotine League, Baz, with an overtime touchdown throw.
I was just looking at that. I was trying to see if Pittman Jr. had done anything else for us in that, but he hasn't done anything. It's just a single catch. But we're doing all right. We should survive.
Yeah.
Next one up for me, Malcolm, is Antwerp versus Shaktar Donetsk.
Nice.
I think that is a Wednesday game. And I think it's a 8 o'clock kickoff UK time, is it? No, Antwerp v Shaktar, 17:45, so 5:45 UK time. Antwerp are 4-5, minus 125, 11-4 the draw, plus 275, and 7-2 plus 350 for Shaktar Donetsk. Antwerp lost 5-0 to Barca in the first round of games, while Shaktar lost 3-1 to Porto. Nothing particularly unexpected. 2 difficult games for these 2 sides, who we would expect will probably be battling it out for a 3rd place to get into the Europa League. The problem for Antwerp is they haven't scored a goal since 3 0-0s in a row for Antwerp in the league since that 5-0 defeat to Barcelona. So 4 games now without a goal. We've said before, I think we mentioned the Belgian league isn't a particularly high standard either. But that said, Shaktar Donetsk are also playing in a poorer league. Ukrainian side have 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss in the last 3 league games and scored just a single goal in each game. So again, they're not scoring freely at the moment. I just think it looks like one that could be a really scrappy game, and one that I really like the unders on. I expected it to be sort of less than evens, but it's sitting here at plus money. Under 2.5 goals in the Antwerp Shaktar Donetsk game at 23-20, plus 115. That Antwerp form of 3 0-0s in a row just stands out. So yeah, I'll take the under 2.5 in this one.
Okay, so a low scoring game. No Robert Lee hat-trick of headers in Antwerp this week. I found an underdog, Baz, and it is on Wednesday evening, one of the 8 o'clock kickoffs. And the underdog is going to be Red Bull Leipzig against Manchester City. Leipzig are 15-4 plus 375. The draw is 16-5 plus 320, and Man City is 7-10 minus 142. Leipzig are a good side. They've won 4 of their 6 so far in Germany. They've scored 16 goals doing it. They beat Young Boys 3-1 in their opening Champions League game. Last year in the Champions League, they've got a home 3-2 win against Real Madrid as well. So they've got a bit of form for turning over these big teams. And just Man City have lost 2 in a row, Baz. Obviously,
Leipzig got a 2-2 yesterday against Bayern Munich as well.
Yeah, good point. So Man City didn't have the full team out up at Newcastle last week. But they did yesterday, and they just haven't clicked. They've got a few little niggles. They're missing some key players. I think Rodri will be available, but the lad from Wolves, is it Nunes? He's come in with a big price tag, and it's going to take a little while for Man City to be able to do it. They're missing some defenders. Fucking Jack Grealish went back on not on my tip list, but after last year when I slagged him off for a while, and then I decided he was quite good and walked it back. He just absolutely bored the very face off me on Wednesday night. Like, they're 1-0 down. At some point, will you do something to try and affect this game? Like, you can't just get the ball, run 10 yards that way, turn around and give it back to the fullback 800 times and expect that's good enough. What's his name who came off the bench, the little winger? Dukas or something. Yeah, Doku. He came on in 15 minutes and 1,000 times. At least he attempted to make shit happen. Grealish didn't attempt anything. He was like a sad robot. He was like an AI off FIFA. He attempted fuck all. He didn't want to join in. And that's it. Win a free kick or recycle the ball. Ball off, do something else. So yeah, I'm not buying him. I just think they're vulnerable, Baz. Leipzig are a good team. Leipzig are better than Wolves. I'll tell you that for nothing. Wolves turned them over. So why can't Leipzig turn them over? 15-4 plus 375, Baz.
Nice, like it, like that pick. Next up for me is the Newcastle versus Paris Saint-Germain game.
Yes, that's my next one too. Is this your last one?
No, I've got one more.
Okay.
I'll leave all the positivity to you. I'll be a bit more reserved, probably. 5 clean sheets in a row for Newcastle. 0-0 draw against AC Milan in the first group of games. Positive result for Newcastle. You know, might not have been a hugely positive performance for any of the neutrals watching that. Newcastle got a bit of stick. Perfectly good result over in Milan for me. Yeah. With Newcastle taking a very pragmatic approach, and I think we could see a sort of similar situation in this, where Newcastle looking to keep it tight, catch them on the break at some point. I can't see us going all sort of gung ho, all guns blazing. Just because it's a home game, but I could be wrong. I mean, PSG aren't in the finest form. It shouldn't be feared here, particularly at St James's Park. They struggled with a 0-0 draw yesterday against Clermont. Was it yesterday? It might have been Friday. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was yesterday.
They had 21 shots on goal in that one, 10 on target. But they've only won 3 of their opening 7 games in the league, currently sitting down in 5th place. So they're not making easy work of it. They had a good 2-0 win against Dortmund in the first round of games. That came with only 2 shots on goal. They scored from both the shots on goal against Dortmund. Now, bottoming out for Newcastle's a concern. But Lascelles and Dummett have came in against Man City now and against Burnley and done well. Lascelles playing both of those. Dummett had a really good game against Man City as well. I'm just taking Newcastle to keep this tight. And I think this could be low scoring again. And it's a big price for under 2.5 goals. 27-20 plus 135. So the pick for me, Newcastle PSG, is under 2.5 goals. And I assume you're going over 2.5, Malcolm, are you?
Well, so Baz, I think the 5 clean sheets is key. The Botman injury is important. I think one of the key handicapping factors for a couple of reasons. That Botman down to Lascelles is a big drop off, but also Shaw, left-sided Shaw, which is now he's going to have to play, compared to right-sided Shaw, is a drop off as well. So we're kind of missing. We're dropping off in both of our central defensive positions. PSG did look poor in that 0-0 game against Clermont yesterday. We had Simmers had it on the phone in his pub because he backed PSG to do stuff. The game looked like it was being played at Newburn Leisure Centre as well, which I thought was a nice touch for the French league. But I got them wrong against Dortmund. I actually handicapped them quite. I thought I was quite low on them before the Dortmund game. I watched it and I thought they were really quite good. So I'm not taking Newcastle to lose. I wouldn't. I'm not that sort of man, Barry. However, I'm going to give you the PSG team total over 1.5, which is even money. So PSG to get a couple of goals. However, by proxy, Baz, that means Newcastle are going to repeat the scoreline of the famous win over Barcelona from all those years ago. So PSG team total over 1.5, but Newcastle can score 3. Full-time score of Newcastle 3, PSG 2 is at 25-1. Baz, you probably find some bigger prices around if you shop around. So yeah, that's going to be. I think it's just because we've got a new. Is Tino getting a hat trick? It was Tino Asprilla with a hat trick in that 3-2 famous 3-2 against Barcelona. We've now got Tino Livramento. Is he going to be the new? Tino Livramento will be a much bigger price than Tino Asprilla would. Off the bench, playing from 3 goals from open play from right back. Yeah. Off the bench would be a right old price pass. But yeah, I do think eventually it's the law of diminishing returns. I talk about this when, like, a reserve goalkeeper or something, when you put them in, and they always have a great game. They come off the bench and make 17 saves. And then the next week they do all right. 3 weeks later, they're conceding 3 every week and everyone thinks they're bollocks. This is a little bit like the Jamal Lascelles thing. And I like him. I'm sure he'll do very well at Celtic. But he's going to, I think we eventually have to get caught out, Baz. So I think it might just happen this week. But we went 3-2, so it's fine. What's your last pick?
Well, only because I've been a little bit negative with a couple of unders picks. I hate backing unders. So I had to go and find an extra bonus pick and find something a bit more lively to get the juices flowing. And I've gone to the Porto v Barcelona game for some goals. Porto, I haven't wrote the prices down, so it doesn't matter because I'm going goals anyway. Barcelona scored 5 in week 1. Porto game was a 3-1, so there was 4 goals in that one. And although Barcelona only won 1-0 at the weekend in the league, 3 games prior to that, Barcelona 14 goals in their last 3 games before the weekend. So I looked at teams who've already managed to score a couple of times against Barcelona. Mallorca, Celta Vigo, Villarreal have already scored 2 or more against Barcelona this season. So why can't Porto be the 4th team to do that? So I think Porto can get in amongst this. I think Barcelona will get goals as well. So I think I'm taking this one to be a high scoring one. And over 2.5 was a better price than I expected. It's a bit shorter. It's about as short as I'd ever go. It's 7-10, minus 142 for over 2.5 goals. It's a bit short, but I can take it because I'm going to go up the ladder a little bit here. So over 3.5 goals at 7-4, plus 175, and over 4.5 goals at 9-2, plus 450. So I'm taking the Barcelona game versus Porto to be goals. Over 2.5, over 3.5, over 4.5. Let's get up the ladder on this one.
Oh, well, there you go, Baz. Some nice picks there. We sounded like we knew what we were talking about. We'll find out over the next couple of nights. And I think bang on 1 hour as well, Barry. Anything else you need to tell the people about? Looks like we ran out of time for the old shipping container full of Lego story for another week. That was going to be. You need to. We need to talk about the magical mystery to our flights. But if you've got time, do you want to do that next time?
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
We'll do that. I'll tell you, we like a teaser on this show. We've got the Lego story, and now we've got the magical mystery to our flight story. We'll leave it on a cliffhanger. It's like Neighbours.
But now the only other thing is anyone watching on YouTube, there's been hundreds tuning on YouTube. We'll continue putting out the chapters on there now to make it easier for you. The least you could do for my efforts in putting chapters in is give us a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed. And also, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple and stuff, continue to give us 5-star reviews. Well done to Courtney Backus, who gave us a lovely 5-star review on Apple Podcasts earlier in the week. She gets fan of the week this week. But yeah, everybody should consider doing that. We've got lots of people listening now, lots who still haven't left us reviews. We're getting lots of good comments, lots of good feedback in the old TikTok and Twitter and everything. But yeah, 5-star reviews count better because other people see that. So yeah, keep doing the good stuff for us, and we'll keep doing what we do here.
The only issue I had with Courtney's review was she said I looked really good in my Cowboys shirt. And
Cowboys hat.
Everyone knows this network's motto, apart from let it ride, the second motto is fuck the Cowboys. So I think all the bosses and everyone then thought I was roaming around the place in a Dallas Cowboys shirt. What she actually meant was my cowboy hat. It was my cowboy hat that I wore, and not a Dallas Cowboys hat, just like a man on a horse in 1872 roaming the plains of Arizona type hat. So yeah, she nearly got me into trouble with everyone, and I was thinking I'm a Dak Prescott lover or something. But there you go. So yeah, thanks everyone who joined. Slick Rick, Zabitron, it was good to have you. You're very much welcome back.
Slick Rick's made a request for a separate podcast just for lifestyle, because to be fair, last season we managed to squeeze a bit of lifestyle in every week. We were really good at it. Now we've managed to make the picks into an hour itself every week, haven't we?
Yeah.
We're not very good at keeping the time down. So yeah, we probably have to start publishing a little 20-minute segment of what's been happening in our lives.
I'm really not sure how much call there is for that, Baz. I'll be honest with you.
I don't think so. No, definitely not.
Might just be me, you, and Slick Rick, which also could be a little bit weird. So the rest of the week, MLB playoffs start on Tuesday. So if you want some picks for that, go and listen to the MLB Gambling Podcast. We'll be recording the playoff previews. The wildcard games start on Tuesday. So it will be a team ride, myself, Lonte, D-Rock, Moonaf, the Machine, Scotty Too Hotty, Ryshell, etc. So yeah, lots of MLB action this week. Thursday night, more than likely, for Premier League preview show at 8:30 Eastern Time. And NFL Live next Sunday. So me and Bob, we're officially now 1, 2, 4 tool athletes, 3 tools. How many tools have we got? NFL, MLB, football.
Definitely a tool, like
lifestyle. One massive tool. Thanks everyone for listening. Thank you very much, Barry. Good luck with your bets. Away the lads. We'll see you down the road. Cheers.